Sure. Let's do it. Let's move to the AFC West. Let's move to Kansas City. They pummeled the Raiders. Uh, Patrick Mahomes had a great game, 406 yards. Was it 5 touchdowns? Was that the count?
Yep.
Vintage Mahomes game right there. But I think the bigger story is actually, the revival of the Chiefs defense. Because over the past 5 weeks, they've only let up 15 points a game. And I know, the teams they face, not very good. You Packers without Rodgers, you got the Giants, you got teams in that kind of range. But still, that is a big step. They were ranking, either near or last or toward the bottom in every single defensive category. Jack listed them all out in one episode. And we were mind blown. Like, that is a historically bad defense. But now, like, something has just, turned a corner. They've been getting a lot of better individual contributions. Chris Jones has been doing a lot better ever since they moved him back. Frank Clark has been doing a lot better. The secondary is still a little bit shaky, but it's been playing better. As a defense, they've just been looking a lot more cohesive, and I think that is huge as they go in, to this next stretch. But I think a lot of people are going to talk about Mahomes and his vintage performance, how he's back. But I think all of us expected him to find himself at some point this year, because there's no way Mahomes could go this long, with that talent. There's no way he could have gone this long without eventually, starting to get a little bit of juice back. But I think the story isn't Mahomes being Mahomes. And I think it's the defense, coming back toward, I guess, league average, but I guess coming back toward being above average by Kansas City standards. And if they can get that level of the play from the defense, Mahomes will do his thing on offense. The Kansas City Chiefs offense will be running with Reed and Bieniemy. If they can get at least average defense, I think this is still, a potential Super Bowl contender. I still think so, because all they needed from that defense in 2019, they played above average and they played really well throughout that stretch. But I think if they just get average play, I'll say above average, I won't go that low, I think they could really be serious threats once again.
I don't remember exactly what episode I said this in, but Spagnuolo defenses, Steve Spagnuolo, they have a tendency to just be absolutely terrible to start off a season, but he almost always figures something out that saves them. Gonna have to go back and watch the game specifically to see exactly what it is he's been doing differently. But the Chiefs defenses almost always have two different looks throughout the year. They've got the time where they look like the worst defense in football for a significant chunk of the year. And then they've got the period where they figure it out and they're actually a solid above average defense. And for these last couple of games, I know they haven't been against the best competition, but they've started to look like that. And I think it's a big test this week against Dallas. I'm not going to say the defense is fully back yet, because it looks like a different Chiefs team this year than we've seen in past years. And 1 week isn't going to get them off of that hook. But coming into next week, we'll have a pretty good idea about whether this resurgence is for good. And if it is, I mean, this Chiefs team, they probably vault all the way back up to being your Super Bowl favorite in the AFC once again, because the offense clicked and the defense clicked. And it was really fun to watch. And football's better, I think, when Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs are playing well. And so I really enjoyed watching it. And I do hope that they get back to the playoffs, because like Anish mentioned the other day in another episode, no one wants to play the Chiefs. I mean, the Chiefs in the playoffs, they're still an absolute force. And I know we all want to see that force succeed. It's just going to take one more week before I can fully say they're back.
So I think it's I mean, I kind of defended them a little bit more than, you guys throughout this little slump. But what I would say is, remember I said back a few weeks ago that they needed to win that 4-game stretch, all 4, right? Or to go 3-1.
Yeah.
Yes, they've caught breaks. They've definitely caught breaks.
Very,
the Raiders,
very large breaks.
All the turmoil the Raiders have dealt with, the Packers with Rodgers. And as a guy who, again, the Browns have just lost to the Chiefs and they don't have tiebreaker with them, it really makes me mad. That's just unfortunate. But look, I said this right. Any team can just get hot at the end. The Chiefs were 6-4 the year they won the Super Bowl. Albeit Mahomes got hurt for a couple games, but they won their final 6. They won their final 3 in the playoffs. So they finished on a 9-0 run,
Same with the Bucks last year, if I remember correctly. I think they were 6-4.
Yeah. So, or the Bucks were 7-5, 7-5,
7-5. Yeah.
7-5. And then they won out. So look, it's all about getting out at the right time. And I heard Skip Bayless said this too. It's not about whom you play. It's when you play them. So, right, like if the Browns had played the Pats week 1, I think they would have beaten them versus playing them now when they're, winning straight. And now the Chiefs have found something. But I will say this, as Jack mentioned, right, to wait a game. They did play a Raiders team that's just been in utter chaos. Interim head coach against Andy Reid, right? Like, John Gruden was their play caller too. So you lose that against a guy who's just an offensive genius. So, there's stuff like that. And obviously you knew, after the game, one of us was going to have this takeaway. Everyone's talking about it. Are the Chiefs back? They did their whole Chiefs thing. Where was this game? It's finally here. It's so, it was bound to happen. And what I'll say again, especially about the defense, is they've had their moments. I think they're finding ways to take the ball away, which they did, against the Raiders last week. But I think this Dallas game will be a real test, as Jack mentioned. And I want to see for, the Chiefs offense as well, right? How will this, momentum wise, because now you've gotten through your shaky stretch, right? And this is where we want to see, right? Can you vault yourself back up? Because the AFC is completely open. There's no team, right, that we can really say is number one. Like I want to say the tight, as of right now, I think I've kept Titans. The Chiefs. I've kept the Chiefs top 3 in the AFC throughout the entire year. But I think right now my rankings would be 1 Tennessee, 2 Kansas City, and 3 New England. I think that's my ranking right now. So, I think Kansas City is still up there. And as Shrikar mentioned with the defense, the 15 points a game type of thing, I think it's, they're bound to forget their footing. But I will also agree with Jack that it's little stretches, right? It's this one game, that's why I'm saying 17 different sprints, right? So let's see how they do against the next one and then the next one. If you can build momentum, how will you do, in the playoffs? But I will say this, and I'll end my takeaway on this. I think the Chiefs have shown you once again why they are the team that you in the AFC you should fear the most heading into January.
If they enter as a wild card team, there is no team in the AFC that wants to play them. 100%.
It's going to be crazy. No. It's the AFC divisional rounds are going to be crazy because you're going to get either New England or Buffalo as a wild card team, and there's a chance you get Kansas City as a wild card team as well. It's like if they're coming into an opposing stadium, like they legitimately might be favorites. Like
are we even confident who's going to be in the divisional round?
No,
no, I'm not.
No,
forget AFC.
We have half the season left.
See, that's what. No, but okay, in the NFC,
a lot of time.
I'm pretty confident we're gonna see. I'm pretty confident that the Rams, the Packers, the Bucks, the Cardinals, and I'm forgetting Cowboys. 4 of those teams will probably be in the divisional round. 99% sure. The AFC, I have no clue. Any team could lose, right? Obviously, one's gonna get the bye, and I think Tennessee will. So okay, fine. But other than that,
the AFC is to a point I don't even know who's gonna make the playoffs. I don't even know who's going to win a game in the playoffs.
500 or better with 8 games left.
It's chaos. It's very chaotic.
I mean, all the spots are for grabs in the AFC. You're right. I think the NFC has less spots available, which I'm going to get into in a couple minutes in my takeaway.
Yeah, go ahead.
NFC, you're kind of fighting for the 6 and 7 seed. Yeah. But AFC, I mean, there are 3. I would say all 3 divisions outside of the AFC South are all wide open.
Yeah, 2 through 7 is wide open.
Yeah,
yep.
I definitely
agree. I still think
Tennessee's probably going to stick
just because their schedule, honestly. But I right now I'm not sure how confident I am in them going and winning a Super Bowl.
And after Thanksgiving, that's when we really see the contenders and pretenders.
Hey, all the guys that said that Dak is way better than Ryan Tannehill. Just saying right now, he's got his team looking pretty good.
Dak has been way better than Ryan Tannehill this
year. He has been. I said that. I said Dak would pass him, but don't count out Ryan Tannehill in January. All I'm saying.
We'll see. We talked about it a lot last week. Getting into my takeaway.